Welcome back to the channel. How's everybody tonight? So I wasn't able to make a video last night because the draft went pretty late, so I'm gonna make it tonight. So last night, Friday Night Magic, of course, Theros Booster draft at my local game store. I wanted to go over my deck and how I did, and open my prize packs because I did place top 4. Unfortunately, I placed 4th, but I did get top 4. So I'll open the prize packs. I got the Theros Beyond Death promo pack and 2 Throne of Eldraine packs because they were out of Theros packs. Ironic, isn't it? Anyways, so my first pack, my first rare was Elspeth Conquers Death. So, of course, we're running white. My second pack, the best card that got passed to me was Hydra's Growth. So, I love this card. I built a deck around this. If you haven't watched my recent videos, I built a deck around this on Arena that I'm about to do a deck tech video on. Just doing some last minute tweaks on it, make sure it works perfect. So I did break a rule that I've had literally since my first draft. So if you haven't watched a lot of my videos, I started playing the week Revised dropped, and I knew nothing about the game, obviously. Literally just found out about the game and bought a starter and some boosters, and back then they were called starters. Now they were tournament packs, and now they don't even make them anymore. There were 75 card decks, basically booster packs, but really big ones with like 3 rares and 10 uncommons or 9 uncommons or something. Basically like 3 big booster packs. But anyways, so my first draft, it was back then they didn't have Friday Night Magics. There was no like WotC sanctioned tournaments or anything really at the time. This was when the game first was kind of starting to get going. So they didn't have sanctioned events or anything, so it was just like the local game store that we played at and that carried the cards. We did a booster draft type thing where we took a starter deck and a 75 card starter deck and a couple booster packs, and then we had like an hour or 2 to trade with each other to build a deck. So we actually traded with all the other players in the tournament. And then we built a deck, and back then we were playing for Annie, so your deck did change a little bit while you're playing. So if you're not an old school player, Annie was actually, after you shuffled your deck and you got it all ready, right? You would flip over the top card of your deck, and whatever that was, those 2 cards from each player got put aside, and whoever won the game won both those cards. This is why Magic got in a lot of problems early on legally, because people were calling it gambling because you actually did gamble one of your cards away. This also caused a lot of problems because you would flip up a Mox and the other guy would flip up a Swamp, and if he won, he got your Mox. So this caused a lot of fights at the things. But anyways, I digress from that conversation. But so I didn't know anything about the game, and my 2 big rares in my packs and stuff were actually a Force of Nature, which was a big old green beast, and a Personal Incarnation, which was a big old white beast. So I used those 2 to kind of build my deck around, so I built a green and white deck. And this was an ongoing, like a 5-week tournament. The judge would actually, wasn't a judge back then, but the guy hosting the tournament actually would put all your decks into a case, and he would take them home with him, so you couldn't manipulate your deck at all at home. So at the end of the night, everybody gave him their decks, and he took them home and then brought them back the next week. I think it was Saturdays we were playing. He would bring them back the next week, and we'd commence playing again another round or 2. So I built a green and white deck, and I had no clue what I was doing, and I built the worst green and white deck ever. And since then, I had this rule to never play green and white. But I pulled that in my first pack, that in my second pack. I did end up, ironically enough, I did try and pull some red cards because I did get an Underworld Fires in like the 3rd or 4th pack, I think. So I was like, okay, I can't go green and white, but maybe I'll go red and white or red and green, you know. But apparently everybody on both sides of me was also playing red. These cards just pretty much got handed to me. I didn't really pull any of those. I pulled the Underworld Fires, and then again, didn't get any red cards for a while. So I couldn't go red. I ended up going white and green, but it ended up turning out not too bad. So I think I might be over my phobia of going green and white now, because I did all right with it. The Hydra's Growth Such an awesome card. It's my favorite uncommon in Theros by far. I love that card. And my last pack, I ended up getting the Archon of Sun's Grace as my rare, which is awesome. So I was already running white with the Elspeth, so now I had the flying lifelink and creating Pegasus tokens. He didn't do much for me in the games because he was a big target. As soon as I put him out there, somebody would try and kill him. So, but I also pulled an Entrancing Lyre. For sealed or draft, this thing is just unbelievably good. Much better than the land or the labyrinth there. So if you are drafting and you come across one of these, grab it. This is probably going to be the most powerful card in the pack because it shuts down anything. It doesn't matter what they're hitting you with. It could be me smacking you with a Hydra's Growth Archon of Sun's Grace for 160, 161. This will still stop it. So, and it works in any color deck. So, I definitely recommend Entrancing Lyre in your drafts if you're drafting Theros. So, come across that guy, it's worth his weight in gold. Probably worth more than his weight in gold because he doesn't weigh much. Anyways, Archon of Falling Stars is another one I got. Flyers, 4/4 flyer. I got an Alseid. Good for the lifelink and also because you can save one of your creatures because, you know, somebody hits it with a removal spell or something, you can sack this little guy to save your bigger creature. Chainwheel Raptor. This guy, I just grabbed on a whim because I didn't see much of anything else better in the pack. I was like, he's got reach, he's kind of small, and his exile cost is kind of big. This guy actually turned into a beast for me. He won me a game just because of the escape. I was able to get him back out when he escapes. He's a 4/5, so he's a beast when he escapes. So he's an early game 1/2 drop. It's probably going to die pretty quick, but it's got reach, so it blocks flyers. So you're going to sack him pretty quick, but then later in the game, you start pulling him out as a 4/5, and he does a lot of damage. And he's got reach at a 4/5, so great card there. I was pretty surprised how well he worked. I didn't think he was going to be all that big of a deal, but he worked great. I ended up getting 2 Daxus. So these guys, of course, are awesome for draft because whenever a creature enters the battlefield or dies, you gain a life, and life gain can really help you in draft because a lot of times it will come down to pretty close life. You know, you may win with 1 life or 2 life, you know, so those extra little bit of life really helps in draft or sealed. And he's, you know, if you got a bunch of white out, he's got pretty good toughness, so he's a great blocker. Banishing Light was one of the removals I got. I didn't get a lot of removal, and that kind of hurt me, of course, because there's a lot of removal in Theros in black and red and blue. So not having a lot of removal really kind of hurts. I only got the 1 Banishing Light. I wish I got more because this thing is a great removal card. For 3, it's a non-land permanent that opponent controls. So you can take anything. You can take artifacts, you can take land, or not lands, artifacts, you can take enchantments, that's what I meant to say, or you can take creatures. So you can get pretty much anything off the board, which is awesome. And it doesn't destroy it, so even the indestructible gods and stuff, you can exile them with the Banishing Light. I did get a Renata for the green demigod. She's handy because all your other creatures enter the battlefield with 1/1 counter on them. And she's got a 3 toughness, which makes her a pretty good blocker early game. So she was pretty helpful. I got 2 of these. I don't know why they're not together. I didn't organize these, apparently. 2 Thaumatos Familiars. I always kind of draft some of these when I see them because a flying 1/3 for 3 is not bad in draft. You get a nice little blocker, but you also get a scry 1, so it helps you kind of at least get your next card pull kind of sorted out a little bit. Helps you get a little bit closer to what you need to do. Warbriar's Blessing, I drafted mainly for the removal because when it comes into play, the enchanted creature that you put it on fights up to 1 target creature you don't control, so you get to kill one of your opponent's creatures when you throw it out there, and it pumps up the toughness on your creature to save them later on. So I just drafted it mainly as removal. I got a couple Forerunners. I didn't sort this out at all, did I? My bad. I got a couple Forerunners. I ran them in there to give all my creatures trample and to be kind of a big beast kind of coming across the board. Indomitable Will, I drafted. I never once got to use it. Oh, yeah, I did get to use it like once, but I didn't use the flash. I just used it to pump up a flyer so I could do more damage because only the flyer was getting over. Nexus Wardens, Reach, and Whenever an enchantment comes into the battlefield under your control, you gain 2 life, and he's a 1/4 good blocker. So I did him mainly for the life gain and the reach to block, because flying is a problem in sealed. Loathsome Chimera, great little escape guy. For 3 for a 4/1, he's pretty good, but he's a really cheap escape cost too. So you can keep bringing him back. So you can block a really big beast and then keep bringing him back to block again. And he comes in as a 5/2 whenever you escape him. Leona of the Lost Pride, just to get rid of anybody else's escape cards that were coming back, which he did help quite a bit. There was a couple times I was able to get rid of some really problematic escape cards. Nylea's Huntmaster, just to pump up a creature real quick for the Devotion to Green. Plus it's a 4/3 for 4. Not a bad casting cost when it gives you a little bit of extra damage on a turn. Glory Bears, all your attacking creatures get +1, and it's 4 mana again for a 3/4. So good sized creature that can do a little bit of damage, and it helps protect your other creatures while they're attacking. Moss Viper, of course, my favorite 1-drop common in the set. Death Touch 1-drop in green. You can't beat that because you got a Death Touch creature out. It doesn't matter what they've got over there. They're probably not going to attack with it because they don't want to lose it, you know. So they're gonna wait until they can try and get rid of this. So he keeps you kind of clear from problems for a couple turns while he's out usually. Voracious Typhoon, another exile card. He's a beast when he gets, or exile, escape. He's a beast when he escapes because he gets 3 +1/+1 counters. So he escapes as a 7/7. He's already a 4/4 when you drop him the first time. But he's a little bit expensive because he does cost 7 and 4 cards from your graveyard to escape. And there wasn't many times that I had 4 other cards in my graveyard because there's so much graveyard hate in this set. So he didn't do me as much good as I thought he would. I never really escaped with him once, I don't think. I was escaping with the other ones that were cheaper. So, but he was a 4/4 body out there. Envoy, I didn't have a lot of auras. I did have a couple. But the main thing was he's a 2-drop 1/2 flyer. Flying's important. A Hero of the Pride, I don't think... Yeah, I didn't... These are cards that I didn't actually stack in the deck, so that was mostly the deck. I ended up pulling a Hero of the Pride, a Flicker of Fate, Nyxborn Colossus. One of the guys I played against actually did stack him, and he was pretty beastly. I probably should have stacked him, but I didn't. For some reason... Every pack, it seemed like the end of the pack, somebody hand me a Skull of Grove Dancer as the last card or the last couple cards. I didn't put any in the deck because there's not a lot of land destruction in this set. So, and I didn't want to mill myself. I didn't have enough escape cards to really just want to mill myself every turn or anything. Just try and hopefully get 1 life. So I didn't stack that one, even though it's 2-drop 2/2. The abilities really weren't there, and he's not strong enough. Citizen Training, I didn't stack just because I didn't have room. I wanted to for the card draw and the extra 1 and the trample. Trample's huge in draft, but I didn't end up doing it just because I didn't have room. Got a couple bronze swords handed to me. I didn't stack those just because I didn't have room. Gift of Strength I really wanted to put in there, but just couldn't make enough room for it. The Plummet, I don't like... I probably should have main decked this, but I don't like main decking stuff that I may not be able to use. So I just kind of left it out. Probably should have main decked it. And Siona, good old Wonder Woman. I did get her, but I didn't want to really mill myself because for some reason a lot of the games I play in draft end up becoming pretty long games, and I have almost milled myself in draft a couple times. So. And there's a lot of mill stuff in this set, so so I didn't want to accidentally mill myself by pulling the top 7 off and then losing something good, because I didn't have a lot of auras in there. If I'd have run more auras, I would have done her, but I wanted to keep my card draw kind of a little more consistent. I didn't want to throw away 6 good cards just to get an aura that was like, I didn't have really any... Aside from the Hydra's Growth, I didn't have any really good enough auras to bother with this. So I didn't stack her. I pull her out the last minute to make room for something else. So there you have it. There's my deck. So I got the bye the first round, so I kind of lucked out on that. Second round, I won 2-0 pretty quick. The third round, I went... What did I do on the third round, I ended up going 0-2 because the other guy, he ended up... I think he ended up placing second. he had a really good deck. He just had a really good combo cards. He pulled some cool stuff. So he just outmatched me. There's no rhyme or reason to it. He just built a better deck, and he's a really good player. So yeah, I don't mind losing if it's to a good deck. I did keep getting landed out a lot though. I normally run 26 cards and 14 lands, which everybody scoffs at because they're like, "Oh, that's not enough mana." But this last night I ran 25 cards and 15 lands, and I literally would go 6 and 7 turns drawing a land. I was getting landed out like crazy. So I think I'm going to go back to 26 and 14 next week because that one extra land seemed to just flood me with lands. I get flooded sometimes when I'm only running 14 lands. So yeah, there you have it. That's what I drafted. So I did get a couple of good cards. You know, I got the Archon and the Elspeth. So cool cards, and the Hydra's Growth. I love that card, so good. All right, but let's open the packs and see what I got. We'll open the Throne of Eldraine packs first. I got 2 packs, and then as you see behind me, I picked up a lot of like 23 packs off of eBay the other day. So I'm gonna open those probably in the next video that I'll post tomorrow or the next day. And if you watch my video from last night, I opened some of these Throne of Eldraine promo packs that I picked up a big lot of those on eBay. Anyways, let's see what we got in the good old Eldraine here. Oh, we got one of the fairy tale arts here, or storybook arts, whatever you want to call them. The Flaxen Intruder, Sage of the Falls, and the Seer Allen, and a Lovestruck Beast. Not bad, not bad. The little storybook Lovestruck Beast. It's not getting a lot of respect right now, but it's still, I think it's a cool card that I think will probably hold up, because I mean, it's a 3-drop 5/5, people. I mean, how could you not love that? All right, let's break into the next one here, and then we'll open up the prize pack. Overwhelmed Apprentice, Merryleaf Pixie, Savvy Hunter, I see a foil, and Lyndon, the Steadfast Star Wars Queen. And a foil Idyllic Grange, not bad. It's common, but cool little common non-basic land card. Foil. All right, now for the good stuff. Let's see what we get here. Let me know how in the comments how you guys did last night at your Friday Night Magic tournaments. If you actually placed or did good, or what you ran, if it was any good. Giant Killer for the first one with the little stampy stamp on it. Nice. I really like this card. If I'm running a white deck for pretty much any reason, I usually put a couple of these in here because destroy target creature with power 4 or greater on its own for 3 is pretty good. But then you've got a 1-drop 1/2 after that you can tap down a target creature. So I think he's a beast. I think he's awesome. Ooh, a Gary, look at that. Nice. Full art Gary. One dude drafted 4 Garys last night. He was just wrecking shop with his Garys. Unfortunately, he didn't have a lot aside from that, but he had 4 Garys, and he was just, people were like, "Oh, not another one! Are you kidding me?" Gary's so awesome. And oh no, the Woo Girl. Oh, terrible, terrible. All right, so not much value in the promo pack there, but but the Gary's cool, and I like the Giant Killer, so. I don't care. I don't think I'm gonna sell any of the promo pack cards because they're kind of my prizes for doing good on Friday nights. So I've never really in the past sold my Friday Night Magic cards. Back then they actually had the Friday Night Magic logo in here, and they were pretty neat. But they don't make the cool stuff like that anymore. So don't get those anymore. But let me know what you guys did last night and how well you fared, and if you actually attended a local LGS draft last night, and let me know how excited you are about next weekend, because next weekend I believe is Mystery Booster release. So I believe it's this next Friday here, and we all get to draft 1,200 reprints in a chaos draft. So that should be pretty interesting. I do have a few boxes of it coming, already paid for and ordered. So next Friday Friday, Saturday at the latest, I'll definitely be posting a opening video of that. So I'll open a box or 2 of that and let you guys see what I get in there. So hopefully we'll see you then. There's probably a couple other video suggestions up in the corners here. Check those out, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.